Well, it's an extremely wordy story. It's like an action movie with words. It moves at an incredible pace, and so what that means for us as actors is that we would have 10, 11-page dialogue scenes like that one actually, which would go on for 8-9 minute takes, continuous takes, and it's tremendous fun, but it's also incredibly challenging, especially with a scene like that one where you can't do any sort of cheeky cuts. You have to really, you know, commit and play through. And I remember reading that scene actually in Australia in the outback when I was doing The Dressmaker and thinking, I just actually don't know how I would do that scene. And so when the day came, I remember I woke up feeling sick, and I remained feeling pretty sick.
So even now, when you watch back,
I feel like I'm actually going to throw up. I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to get it wrong. There's something wrong.
Well, who was she? Because we know quite a lot about him and about his life. But she was new to me. This is Joanna Hoffman, who you play, and in the movie, she's kind of described as his work wife.
Yeah. In reality, she worked with Steve for only 5 years. In our story, it's a lot longer. But they were very, very good friends. And I think that's why Aaron Sorkin, the screenwriter, chose to include Joanna so heavily in the story, because their relationship was really unique. She's a wonderful Polish-Armenian lady who came to America as a teenager, and she's a fighter. She described herself to me as almost a kindred spirit to Steve, I think, which is why she could handle him in the way that she did.
Well, she was the only one, though, really.
She was one of very few, one of very few people who would really stand up to him and just put him back in his place, and she just was honest with him in a way that I think he knew that he needed as well. And there was a sort of a mutual respect between the two of them that was quite different. But you know what? I was talking about this yesterday with somebody. What's lovely, actually, is that Steve in the story, and actually in reality, is extremely respectful of women. Very. Which is really lovely to watch, actually. And Joanna Hoffman herself, when she saw the movie, sent me an email saying how much she had enjoyed it, but in particular seeing some of Steve's real warmth come through. In Michael's portrayal of him, particularly in those scenes with his daughter Lisa.
That was such a relief when you're playing somebody that's still around.
Yeah, I think Michael was really relieved to hear that, because it's a lot of pressure, I think, playing somebody that iconic, but also, you know, that well respected as well.
And also knowing that as an actress, as you in the midst of the brain of the new computer industry, that you don't have a computer.
No.
That you're not computer literate at all.
No, rubbish. But I can't often find my iPad, which I do use actually for reading scripts. But no, I don't have a computer. No, I don't. And
why?
What do I need it for? I don't really need one.
So it's just because everything comes through on your iPad. So it's not as if you are computer.
No, I'm not completely useless.
Yeah.
I do have an iPhone, which I very much have a love-hate relationship with. In fact, we were away over half-term, and my lovely husband took my email off my phone for the first time ever, and it was fantastic. It was so extraordinary. The relief I felt. I actually think I might make that a permanent thing next year. But no, I don't. I'm not a huge fan of them, and I think that, you know, obviously in education, kids need them at a certain point now. You know, teenagers certainly for schoolwork and things, and so much work is set on the computer, and I understand all of that, but yeah, it's social media, I think. It's a tricky world, I think.
Well, you said that quite recently. You said that you very much limit the access that your kids have got.
Well, we don't have it. We don't have any social media at all. So
how have you managed that?
We just don't have it. It's as simple as that.
And what do they say?
They don't really, they understand that they don't really need it, I think. You know, because we say to them things that I think are important to say. You know, a conversation. If you want to speak to somebody, pick up the phone and phone them. If you want to send a text message, send a text message. You know, those things are absolutely fine. But social media, I think it can get a little out of hand. And I do understand that for busy parents, it's really hard to keep your finger on the pulse. But luckily, I'm in a position where I am able to monitor what goes on. And you know, you don't get a childhood back. This is it. You know, that's it for children. It's right now, and I think it's easy to ignore some of these hazards. I do believe that they are hazards. So much time, I think.
Aren't you holding back the dam a little bit on this though? Because when they go to school, they get a little bit older, and they go to school, and all their mates have got it, and they've got phones.
Yes, my daughter has a phone.
So she's, you know, she's going to secretly download Twitter, isn't she?
No, she wouldn't. No, no, she wouldn't. She's a good girl. She's a really good girl. She wouldn't.
And she doesn't feel like she's missing out on too much, sort of when friends are doing it or they're contacting in those ways. She doesn't.
No, occasionally, every now and then, she might sort of say, "Oh, I wish I had WhatsApp." And I think WhatsApp's probably okay. I actually find WhatsApp quite useful myself in terms of communicating with large family groups, for example. I think it's lovely. But no, that's, you know, I think it's okay the way we've got it.
You just wait till you hear one say to the other, "Oh, I got a funny Snapchat today."
No, they wouldn't do it. They know, they know, they know. It wouldn't be worth it. They know.